Hey my awesome ladies, so I have a new video for you guys. This is the new Little Lizard King Morgan pattern. Shout out to Little Lizard King getting me a pattern that I can pronounce. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so let me tell you what we have. This is made with knit. I got this knit from Joann's. No, I didn't. I'm lying. My bad, Joann's. I didn't get it from you. I got it from fabric.com. Boom, shout out. Not sponsored by them, but if they want to, holla at your girl. Okay, so let me tell you what we have. I have this right here. I have four of these. It's right here for my ruffles. The reason why I got it on the wrong side because I have a projector now, so therefore I project my patterns on. Ooh. Your girl done moved up. All right, so we have the front bodice. You should have two. Back bodice, two of those. I have the two of my sleeve piece here. So I'm gonna do the one with its it has the puffy, and then this is gathered to it, but we're gonna get to that in the tutorial. You should have four of the ruffles because I'm going to do the ruffle version, and you have two skirt pieces here. So let's get started. Okay, so grab your bodice pieces. I got my front and my back here, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take them apart. Let's see which one got a pretty side. It's hard for me now. I think I'll go with this one. I'll go with this one. So this is my front. All right, and grab one of your back pieces, and we're going to put them together at the shoulder seams, all right, and side seams. All right, okay, and I'm going to pin here at the shoulder seams. I will be taking this to my machine and sewing a 3/8 inch seam allowance with using a stretch stitch. Whatever stretch stitch you want, baby, you can use it, okay? I'm gonna use my serger, but if you got the sewing machine, you use a zigzag stitch. Remember that little song I got? Sing it with me. If you're sewing with knit, you use a zigzag stitch. Ooh, drop the mic, drop the pen. Boom, just like that. All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing for my other bodice, for my lining. Repeat the same step for your lining, okay? All right, so let's take this to your machine and sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have one of my bodice pieces turned right side out, and I'm just going to mark like the back here because I want to make sure that it doesn't, I don't get it confused when I flip it over, put it together, all that type of stuff. I just want to make sure I got that right. So I got my main bodice turned right side out, and we're going to grab our lining, and we're going to put this right sides together. Okay, I'm going to put my lining over my main bodice like this. Okay, matching the shoulder seams here, just like this. All right, and I am going to pin my neckline, okay? So let's do that. Okay, so I have my neckline here, my neck pin. What I'm going to do is take this to my machine, and I will sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance to attach with using a stretch. Okay, so I have my neck pinned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it right side out like this, okay? Now, It's all up to you if you want to sew the, you know, do the understitch, okay? What it tells you to do is it's just, you would need to, let's see, whatever lining fabric that you have, you need to take your neckline here and you're going to push it towards that line, and then you're going to top stitch it. So I'm not going to top stitch because I just don't want to. But if you want to, you can. It's all up to you. It's just, it's your thing, okay? So I'm not going to top stitch. Now let's go to our next step. I'm going to put this in just like that. Turn it right side out. Alright, so I have it turned right side out now. The pattern tells you to take this to your sewing machine and just do a basting stitch on your armhole here, on this armhole. So then you can make sure you get it right. So I'm going to do that, and then I will be back with our next step. Okay, so I have my bodice sleeves based down, so therefore I am done with that little part. So we're going to put our bodice to the side and we're going to start on our sleeves, okay? So it is really important that you transfer those markings that the pattern has, that the pattern has. If you can see right there, I transfer my markings on both, because if you don't, then it's going to be pretty hard for you to get that, you know, that puffy look. So, you know, you really want to do that. So I did that for both of my sleeves. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my sleeve up here. So before we gather, we're going to measure over 1 inch from our side part here, our sides on both of our sleeves, because that part right there will not be gathered. All right, so measure over 1 inch. Put it right here. So if you want to do that, make sure you just measure over. All right, so we're going to do that. So I have my sleeves measured, and 1 inch of it will not be gathered, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have my gathering stitches. I just gathered from here. Well, I did my stitches from here to the other side, but just remember that right here where that 1 inch is, it needs to be flat, okay? But I just did 2 rows gathering stitches. You don't have to. I just wanted to be really like, you know, even, okay? So what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna do one at a time. So I'm gonna take this out. If you're doing the Juliette style, because that's what I'm doing, you're gonna have this sleeve here, okay? And then they have the puff option, the triple puff option, and the short puff option. I am doing the Juliette version. All right, so what it tells us to do first, I'm going to open up my sleeve here. All right, and you know what, I'm going to just gather my sleeve to match the width of my Juliette sleeve here, okay? So let's do that. I'm going to do this for both sleeves. I'll bring it out so I can grab it. Okay. See, I just like to do, sometimes I hate to do the 2 row gathering stitches, because you know your girl likes to always hurry up and get it done. But I just love how it just looks so even when I do it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to try to make sure that I do not gather up that 1 inch on both sides here. All right, but I'm also going to make sure that it's even. the same width as my sleeve here, okay? So let me get it close up, maybe you can see it. All right, just like that, okay? So what I'm gonna do, right sides together, because right now my stitches, my gathers are all over the place. But I just want to make sure that I got that width first, all right? And then I will just distribute my gathers to, you know, to make it look nicely. So I'm gonna do this right sides together, just like this. And I turn it around. So I got it right sides together. And I'm going to pin here first, my ends, on both ends here. And then just try to distribute my gathers evenly. So boom, and just all right. I can still see my 1 inch mark there. And you just repeat the same step with the other sleeve. All right. So now that I have it evenly distributed, I am going to just pin it in place. And you're going to sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance to attach using a stretch stitch. All right, let's start on your other sleeve. Okay, so now what I am going to do is I am going to take this to the machine, and I'm going to sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance using a stretch stitch, okay? And then I will also top stitch the, after it's attached, I will top stitch my gatherings, okay? And I'm gonna top stitch my gatherings, and then I will also off camera show you, do my gathering stitches for my little markings here, okay? So then I can, for my cape sleeve, okay? So my sleeve cape. So I'm gonna do that, both of those off camera, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. All right, so I have both my sleeves gathered and attached, and I did a top stitch. Kind of wish I didn't, because it's a little wonky, but it is what it is. So what we're gonna do next, and I've also went ahead and did my gathering stitches here, okay, on the top here where those markings were, where they are. And I'm not gonna gather them yet. So what you're gonna do next is we're going to, let's put this to the side, and we're going to take our sleeve and we're going to put it right sides together, matching this side, this underarm seam here, and we're going to pin all the way down and sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance, okay, to attach using a stretch stitch. So, and we're going to do the same step for our other sleeve, and then I will be back. Okay, so let's take this to our machine and sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance. You can go ahead and hem the bottom of your sleeve, and you know I live by this. So if you need to buy, this is hemming with knit period, go ahead and pick up the Heat and Bun Soften Stretch. So then that right there will work for you to hem, okay? So I'm going to attach my sew my my sleeve together, and then I will also, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have hemmed the bottom of my my sleeves, and now I'm going to turn my sleeve. Well, first I like to do this. I like to find the center of my sleeve before I put it on, so then I can attach that, match that with the center of my shoulder sleeve, my shoulder seam there. So let me find the center. All right, find the center. Boom, just like that. So let's turn this right side out. Okay, so I have this right side out. Now let's bring in our bodice. All right, just start with one sleeve. So I've got my bodice here, and I'm going to turn my bodice to the wrong side out. Now if you have like a different lining, then you know it's wrong side out. So I'm just going to turn it over here. I like this other side a whole lot better, I believe. All right, so have it wrong side out. Like I said, if you were using, I'll cut them off, a different lining fabric, you could tell. I just use the same fabric. All right. So all right, now just take one of your sleeve pieces, and we're going to put this inside of our bodice here. Okay. So just gonna separate my bodice here, and I am going to first match up my underarm seam here, just like this. All right, and then that little mark that I made for my center, I'm going to match that with my, it's going to be right sides together, y'all, so I'm going to match that with my shoulder seam here. I like to do that all the time. Because I always seem to mess up when I don't. Okay, so now let's grab our pins, and we're going to pin our sleeves. Okay. All right. All right, and here is where we stop. I'm gonna stop right there and go on this other side. All right, so now we're going to pull. I'm just going to stop right there, and I'm just going to pull my gathering stitches here to make my, here, that's what I'll do. Let's see, I'm gonna go up some more. And now I'll pull my gathering stitches to match. Alrighty, just like this. And I'm gonna pull this down some so this can. Alright, and pin. Alright, get this other side here. Go up a little more. And I'm gonna just pull. Alright. Put a little more so I can, just like this. Alright, so I'm gonna try to get it even. There we go. Just like this. I'm gonna pull it. Our ruffles hold the top and pull. So then this can try to lay flat. Alright, so let's do this with the other sleeve. You see, it should look just like that. Here are my little lines here, and then that's where I started my ruffles. So let's do the other sleeve. Okay, so now let's take our bodice to our machine, and we're going to sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance using a straight stitch to attach our sleeves to our bodice. And then I'll show you what it looks like when I get back. Hey, when I get back. Hey, when I get back. All right, so our bodice is done, y'all. So we got the cute little puffy sleeves up here, which is really, really cute. Look like it's all good and even and stuff. And so now we can start on our skirt. I am doing the ruffle skirt version, okay? If you're doing the simple skirt, it'll be super easy. All you have to do is just sew up both sides, the short sides, and gather it up and put it together. So, but I'm gonna do the ruffles, and let's put this to the side and grab my skirt. Okay, so now let's work on our skirt here. I'm going to take my skirt piece and I'm going to turn it side up. You should have two. And I am going to put these right sides together, just like this. This is my first tier, okay? This is what will be attached to our bodice. All right, and I'm going to pin along this short side. Okay, I'll be sewing a 3/8 inch seam allowance on both sides right here. Using a stretch stitch. Just like this. So I'm gonna put this to the side. So this is my main. And then since I'm adding ruffles, I have 4 of my ruffle pieces. And I will be also attaching these at the short side. So here. And you should have like just a big tube when you're done. Okay, so I'm going to take my ruffles and my skirt. I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance. I'm also just going to ruffle, gather and ruffle up my, after I'm done, sewing my 3/8 inch seam allowance to attach all of my ruffle pieces together. I'm also going to do a gathering stitch. I'm going to gather my ruffles so then I can put it here. I'm not going to gather that up there at the top just yet. So I'm just going to gather my ruffles and I'll show you what it looks like when I get back. Okay, so I have my top tier skirt put together. I also went ahead and gathered my ruffles to match the width of my top tier skirt here. And what I'm just gonna do, I am going to attach my ruffles. I think this is really cute if it was like an exposed ruffles, which you could definitely do that. All you have to do is just hem the bottom of this and then just put that baby on top. Like, that'd be really, really cute. But I'm not gonna modify the pattern, all right? But I think it'd be really, really cute as I sit here and look at it. All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna attach our ruffles right sides together and grab your pins. And I'm going to attach the side seam to the side seam of my ruffles. Okay, and this other side seam here and attach. And I'm just going to pin my ruffles to my skirt. Right sides together. Okay, so I have my pins, my ruffles pinned to my skirt piece. So now let's attach it with a 3/8 inch seam allowance using a stretch stitch. Put a whole bunch of pins on that baby too, because you know this thing be moving everywhere. And then if you want to get your ruffles straightened out, you can, it's time to do that too. So let's stick it in here. All right, so let's attach our ruffles and I will be back. Oh, and I'm also going to gather my skirt, my top skirt tier of my skirt too, and I'll be back. Okay, so I have my skirt almost done. Ruffles attached. I already went up there and gathered the top of my ruffles. Now just bring in your bodice. Bring in your bodice and we're going to turn our skirt wrong side out. So let's do that. Turn our skirt wrong side out. And I'm going to gather my skirt piece here to match the width of my top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bodice here and I'm going to put it inside of my skirt piece, matching. Turn this skirt to the side, make sure you guys can see, and take my bodice and I'm going to put it inside of my skirt, just like this. All right, now raw ends touching. Let me get my pins. Grab your pins and grab your bodice here. All right, both main and lining, and we're going to match our side seams here on both sides. All right, and now let's just gather our skirt to match this, the width of our bodice. Make sure you get your main and your lining. Okay, so now let's take this to our machine and we're going to sew a 3/8 inch seam allowance to attach, and you can take this to your serger and serge off your raw ends. And I'll be back. I'm also going to go ahead and hem the bottom of my skirt piece there using my hem tape. If you get this hem tape, like, it has the instructions on the back. Like, I mean, it's super simple, super easy. I just love this stuff. So let me attach my bodice and I'll be back. All right, and we are done. This is so cute. I'm ready to see Miley in this. So if you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so then you can be alerted, if that's even a word, when I post another video. Like I said, this is the Morgan. I did the Juliette version of the Morgan dress with the puffy sleeves and stuff like that, but they have like the 3-tier puffs, the short sleeves, all of that. And I think this is going to be super cute for Christmas with the ruffles. So thanks for watching. See ya.